Okay, so hopefully you looked at these. And if I look at this x value, I have -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Those are all different. So yes, this is a function. However, this very last one, so let's look at these x values in this fourth one. I have a 2 and I have another 2. Oh no, they're repeating. Same with my 4s. 4 and 4, those are repeating. So that means that this is not a function. So when you are looking at a table, you cannot have repeating x values. So that's what makes it a function or not. Now, what about when it's a graph? So let's go ahead and flip the page over. Let's look at these next little notes. And let's go over, how do I know if a graph is a function? So it says, in order for a graph to be a function, it must pass the vertical line test. Now, a vertical line is a line that goes up and down. Oh, let me redraw that so that way it's a little bit better. So a vertical line is one that goes up and down. Okay, so here is how you know if it's a function with that vertical line. So if a vertical line intersects the graph, so intersects the graph in all of the places at exactly 1 point, then the graph is a function. So let's use this graph on the very right and let's see if this is a function or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put vertical lines through this graphed line. So here's my vertical lines. And if you notice, these vertical lines are only hitting the graph at 1 point. So this vertical line only hits it at 1 point. This one does 2. This one does 2. So this graph is a function. Graph is a function. So let's check these other ones. So here we have a graph of a circle. So if I draw a vertical line down, this vertical line actually touches the graph in 2 spots. So this does not pass the vertical line test. So this is not a function. If I go to the next one, this is what we call a parabola. If I put a vertical line, it hits the graph once. Same if I put the line here, it only hits the graph once. So yes, this is a function. If I look at the third one, I put a line down, any of these places, it only hits once. So that means that, yes, this is a function. And then our very last one, if I put a line down on this sideways parabola, it hits the graph twice on any of our lines. So that means it is not a function. So you have 2 ways. You can't have repeating x values, which is what we saw in our tables. Let me go back up. There we go. So you can't have repeating x values as we saw in our tables. And then it has to pass the vertical line test to also be a function. Now, the very last thing that I want to go over before we're finished with these notes, and that way you guys can practice, are the 3 different types of functions. Now, what's really cool is in the classroom, if you look on the very back wall, I have all 3 of these functions posted. So all we're going to look at is the shapes of these functions. So all of our linear functions, it has that word line. So your linear functions are always a straight line that either goes up or a straight line that goes down. Our quadratic functions are either a U shape that goes up or a U shape that goes down. And the shape of these graphs actually have a name. They are called parabolas. And then the very last one is our exponential functions. Now our exponential functions have curves that sort of look like this, where they go up or they go down, just like this. They look a little bit like a J and an L if you look at them in a different way. So those are our three types of functions, and those are what their graphs look like. So let's take a minute, again, flip the page, and we're going to try and just label these. Well, if I look at the very first one, it has that exponential curve right here that goes down. So this is most definitely an exponential function. So I'm going to write exponential. If I look at the next graph, it is most definitely a straight line. So this is a linear function. And then the last one, it is a U shape going down. So that is a quadratic function. So now what I need you guys to do is go ahead, finish your practice, work through it with your groups. Make sure you're asking questions to Miss Jarvis and Miss Fernandez, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.